We're going to, yeah, we'll just connect. It's the morning after a crazy day yesterday. It is the morning after history was made, both good and bad. And it's the next day. It's 100% the next day. And so John O'Donohue is one of my favorite theologians of all time. And he used to say, or he has a saying that talks about following nature, and how when we follow nature, when we look at sunrise and sunset, we're reminded that we get to put away the previous day and we get to start again with when the sun rises. It's the invitation to start something new. And so for you today, you may still be in the hangover of yesterday, which of course makes a lot of sense, because as humans, that's what we tend to do. Before this yin class, I'm inviting you to step into being here and present, to step out of avidya, or the veil, the grand delusion of being separate from one another, of being of being unsafe, and to really just tap into where you are right now, and the truth of where you are right now. So we'll start with just coming into presence. So to come into presence, we'll start in the Adi Mudra, bringing the thumb inside of the hands and in the palm of the hands, and then wrapping all other 4 fingers around. And place this mudra, you can come to a comfortable seat and just place this mudra right on your thighs. And this mudra represents the self being wrapped around the 4 more superficial layers. Big self inside of wisdom body, inside of observer body, inside of breath body, and physical body. And the big self is what we're chipping away at all of those layers to get to the big self, and we know that those layers are there for perspective, to move energy, to sit in quiet contemplation, and to be the conduit that we utilize to interact with one another physically and to have experiences. Taking a full inhale. Exhale out of your mouth. You can let go of your mudra, but keep your eyes closed for Dirga Pranayama. Inhale, low belly expands. Exhale, let it go. Do that again. Inhale so deeply that the low belly expands outward and down. And exhale. Inhale, low belly expands. Ribs expand. And exhale, let that go. Inhale, low belly expands. Ribs expand. Collarbones expand. And exhale. Inhale now, filling the breath, or filling the body all the way from your pelvic floor right to the base of the throat. Hold the breath in and feel the breath rise in the back of the throat toward your eyes. And exhale, let everything go. You can open your eyes and we will come to our first pose, which is reclined butterfly. So reclined butterfly, you're just going to bring the soles of your feet together and lie down. And here we'll just connect again to breath. And connect to the body. Also connect to whatever it is that you're seeding for your day. So perhaps bring your one hand at your heart and the other at your low belly. Just notice which is where. Right hand, typically the right hand represents yourself in yoga and in mudras. And the left represents the universe or God, that which is greater. So what's interesting is when you have your right hand at your heart, for example, that means that, you're more connecting toward the heart. That is what you are interested in expressing, and that's something that naturally occurs to you to do. And if left hand is on low belly, which is on the house of creativity, if that is the left hand, then that means that is what the universe is supporting right now, is you being in creation. And of course the opposite is also true. If left hand is at the heart, then that's what you are actively interested in cultivating. You are actively interested in cultivating love. And then if your left hand is there, the universe is actively working to create love, or you're asking for that from the universe or God. And then the right hand is connecting to creation, you in creation mode. I find it very interesting to notice where is your natural choice of hand placement. Where are you naturally expressing? Are you naturally expressing or connecting to creation mode, being a creator, or is it to love? And as you marinate on that desire that is innately in you, notice if the body begins interrupting this process with any type of pulling or pinching that is not serving you. So if there's anything going on in the hips that are taking you out of this introspection, you can bring in pillows or blocks to support you here. What I have found is that if you do have that pinching in the hip, it does not get better later. It just annoys you later. So it is always an option to elect support. And if you're not interested in keeping your hands there because it feels like work, I invite you to open your arms wide in reception mode, or to bring them long along the ears to tap into heart meridian here. If you're new to Yin Yoga, we are working with energy. Well, in yoga in general, we're working with energy. But in Yin Yoga, we're working with the energy outside of ourselves and within ourselves, because it is based on traditional Chinese medicine, which means that we have these energetic lines in the body that are manipulated whenever you go to acupuncture or get foot massages, or you go to, deep tissue massage, Thai massage, things like that. And we're working along those energetic lines. In wintertime, it's kidney and urinary bladder meridians. But traditional Chinese medicine also follows 5-element theory. That means that we're also working with the energy of the season. And of course, we're in winter if you're here in the northern hemisphere, which I believe most of you are. And so we are working in the season of nurturing. If your arms are extended, bring your hands back down toward your thighs. Place them under your thighs and close them like a book. Soles of the feet come to the mat. And just take a moment here in constructive rest to bring yourself back into neutral. Now, I didn't tell you how long this yin class was. I love how you're just in for the ride. We're going for 30 to 45 minutes so that you may start the rest of your day and get going with wherever you are. I believe I saw some Cali people on this call, which means that it's like not even 5 a.m. your time. I see you. Take in a full inhale into low belly again, ribs and collarbones. And exhale with sound. Roll over now onto your to your right side. Press into your hands to come up to twisted deer. You'll keep your right thigh forward, the left thigh is back. You're coming into a 90-90 positioning with the legs. Now, I'm going really light with props today because I don't know what you're working with. Also, just because I believe we need ease today. And we already know that yin is not easy. It's not meant to be easy. Yin is about digging deep. And it is about finding the resilience in your own body. Finding the resilience in your own mind and in your own spirit. So you're bringing the left thigh back as far as feeling permits. And then the right knee is going forward. As you inhale, you lengthen, and exhale, twist. And the hands are near the right hip. I always say that Yin Yogis were uniquely suited to endure and thrive in 2020 because we've been practicing resilience. We've been practicing sitting in discomfort and seeing what's on the other side. Now, for many of you, this may not be an uncomfortable pose. Twisting deer is a very accessible pose for a lot of folks. And you may actually find a place of rest here. So I guess the question for me is, do you want to stay in that place of rest, or do you want to keep creating some more options? For some of you, that might be coming down to your forearms to increase the twist in the body. For others, it might be drawing the left leg back even more to increase the sensations across the left hip flexor. Wherever you are, you're coming to your appropriate edge. You're coming to that edge for a period of time in stillness. So wherever you find yourself, just come back to that stillness of the mind and depth of breath. Release the twist as if you were extended, you'll just come back up. And then we'll move into swan, otherwise known or called pigeon. So your right knee is already forward. We're just going to send it more forward, or rather adjust the right foot to be forward as well. If you're near a sofa, feel free to go to, we played with this in one of my previous classes, swan at the wall or swan at a sofa, which is a lot of fun. I really love this pose. It's just sending your left leg up the wall or up the sofa while your right knee and shin and foot are forward. If you don't have that, then you're just coming into the regular positioning of a pigeon or swan. We're upright for the moment to get settled into the body. And then after you are where you're going to be, we will go ahead and come into the swan. And sleep the swan, bringing the body all the way down. Now for me personally, I like to place blocks along the side of my extended leg so that I'm not hunched on my forearms. So if you do have any props, feel free to take being on your body or utilizing your forearms to hold you up if that's where you are in your pigeon journey. I'm actually doing the practice with you guys today, considering I don't know when people are popping on or popping off. And just notice what the body is doing, starting all the way at the toes. Notice any holding or gripping. Now there's a concept there in Yoga Sutra 1.5 speaks to the 5 modifications of the mind. And earlier in these aphorisms on yoga that were written by a person or a collective called Patanjali, there is a statement that is quoted by yoga teachers all the time, which is yoga is the calming of the modifications of the mind. But oftentimes we never talk about what those modifications of the mind are. And there, Yoga Sutra 1.5 says, well, there are 5, and they either cause misery or non-misery. What I love about yoga, the Yoga Sutras, is it's not like they're always in these terms of opposites that we think about. It's like, no, it's misery or it's non-misery. Not like it's misery and it's bliss. It's misery and it's a lack of misery. And oftentimes when I teach on this subject, I speak to it being, it's either a state of yoga or a state of non-yoga. Non-yoga being the misery part and yoga being the non-misery part. Taking a full breath. Exhale, let something go. Bring awareness to your hands. Press the mat away from you. And come now onto your left hip. We're come first to all fours or down dog. It's up to you. I actually really like to just extend that leg that was compressed, bringing the, just really extending. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing with my toes, so I'll show you. And this actually here, anytime we activate the foot, we're activating the base or the very first point of the kidney meridian. All right, come back down to all fours if you're up. And then come onto your left hip now for twisted deer, other side. So left hip is on the mat. You can see that we're bringing the right thigh back. Left leg is forward. Knee and shin are forward. Right thigh is back. Creating a 90-90 positioning with the legs. So I don't know if you can see it better or worse from here. And first, just find that point where of where it feels like it's your edge for you. And take in a full breath in, lengthen along the front of the body. Exhale, twist over the left thigh this time, the left hip. And so we were talking about the modifications of the mind that are 5, and they either cause misery or non-misery. What's funny is that's its own aphorism, that's its own statement. So if you were to stop reading there, you're like, well, what are the 5? So you have to keep reading. The next one is what they are, which is correct knowledge, incorrect knowledge, imagination or delusion, sleep, and there's one more that I can't think of. Correct knowledge, incorrect knowledge, imagination or delusion, sleep, and a 5th. What is the 5th one? Clearly, I don't talk about the 5th one enough. I'll get to it. It's early. Ignorance. That's it. But I think ignorance and incorrect knowledge might be the same. I'm going to look for it while y'all are in this twist. because I can't remember. And because I'm never up at this hour, ever. Although the other day I was almost going to bed at this hour. Stay where you are as I wake my body up. Memory! Isn't it funny that the one I forgot was memory? Talk about, man, God has such a funny sense of humor. I really hope you're laughing with me. Anyway. So then, what does it mean that these 5 modifications of the mind could either cause a state of yoga or a state of non-yoga, or rather a state of non-misery or a state of misery? Well, the tantric yogis would say that anything in life can become a blessing or a poison. So anything of those, any of those 5 could cause misery or non-misery. Release your deer and transition now into swan. Bringing your left shin more toward parallel with the top of the mat, and right leg back this time. If you tried pigeon or swan at the sofa or wall, do it again over on this side. And of course, we know this side might be a little different. So find your edge on this side. And when you find it, bring anything under the body that might support you, and maintain your edge without fighting it or leaning in to just rest. So whatever that means for you. And then sleep your swan. So if anything in life, including correct knowledge, can become a state of yoga or non-yoga, that we actually see that, right? We actually see when we feel that we're right on something, or we know that we're right on something, and it causes discord with other people. Or even discord with ourselves. Like, for example, for me, I know that drinking lots of water and getting lots of sleep allows for my body to operate in a better and a smarter way. Knowing this actually bothers me because it makes me wonder, why am I not drinking enough water? Why am I not getting enough sleep? Blah, 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 blah. So it disturbs my spirit. Ignorance is bliss, yeah? But of course we experience this on deeper levels as well. If we are in arguments with family or friends or former friends, because what we know in our heart of hearts is true and right. And those folks are not on the right side of that argument. It causes a state of non-yoga. And of course, false information or incorrect knowledge does the same. It can do the same. But incorrect knowledge could also be blissful because ignorance is bliss. So we can see that anything in life can become a blessing or a poison, as the tantric yogis would argue. And the question then is, how do we then come to this state of yoga in spite of it all? And that is where we come to the wisdom of practice and non-attachment. Just being in the practice and letting go of the outcome. For sure, that's what we're doing in our yoga practice when we're advancing yoga. It's not about getting a pose. It is about coming to the ability to be in a yoga pose, in meditation, in focused concentration, in pranayama practice, without expecting an outcome. Release. Come to all fours or downward facing dog. If you're in all fours, try that foot release again by sending your left heel back as the toes ground you here. Come out to all fours. Separate the knees. Toes come together for tadpole. The heart melts toward the mat as your bum sits back toward your heels. This is also wide knee or wide leg child's pose. And the Yin yogis or Bernie Clark, spoke to renaming these poses to interrupt that understanding of what is right and what is correct, and that attachment to the names that have been given previously to the poses. And so this wide knee child's pose is tadpole, half pigeon is swan, and it's to interrupt that immediate connection to a name and an immediate going into a pose in the way that we've always done it before, being just interrupting it and being a little more mindful and going into it more slowly. Which then again connects to this concept of winter time that we're all leaning into in the Northern Hemisphere. Just interrupting the busyness of the day and coming into feeling. So we might feel things more deeply. States of misery might feel more miserable, and states of non-misery might feel more blissful. I invite you to come back into your breath to fully begin cultivating that state of non-misery in your body as you deepen this tadpole, sending the hips back just a bit more. Remember, if you would like something under your chest or head or anything that helps you live in your edge in stillness in a more attainable way, particularly since this is the morning, I invite you to invite in those tools and toys like blocks and breath. As you're here in this beautiful connected pose, both to the earth and to self, bring into your awareness what you're seeding for yourself over the next 21 days. Or over the next, 20 days, as we're in day 2 of discipline. What are you seeding for yourself? What are you actively choosing for yourself? And bring it down to one word. And on your exhale, send that word reverberating throughout your whole body. Taking a full breath in. Exhale toward your feet or the mat. And on your ready, walk your body out, sending hips down and feet to mat width distance, coming into Sphinx pose. Just notice that quality of grounding across the hips. You might have a natural inclination of clenching in the glutes. Let that go. It's funny because I oftentimes say bum because I've been around so much British English in my life. And recently my friend who is British said, you know, I wouldn't say bum around my grandmother, and I was like, shut up, really? So I'm trying to, as my student base expands geographically, I'm trying to be more aware, because there might be some grandmas in there that are British or speak British English. If you like to press into seal, now's a good time to just turn your hands outward, thumbs toward the top of the mat, and you'll straighten your arms, walking them toward the body. You don't have to do this. This is just an option. Also notice that if you do this, there's a lot of squeezing in the buttocks to come to this pose. So once you arrive, go ahead and let your glutes be soft. Head is at neutral rather than jerking it up. You might be a person who does Sphinx seal a lot. It hits different in the morning. If you're still in Sphinx, just stay in Sphinx, just marinating in. For all of us, we're just marinating in this low back compression. Also just being aware of the grounding across the front of the hips. Taking a full, nourishing breath here. Exhale, come all the way down. And really feel for that flow of energy that's now being encouraged along the back body, now that we're no longer in that compression. Turn over, bringing your back to, actually yeah, because I don't know what you're working with, so Turn over to your back side. Come back to constructive rest, which is bent knees. It's like bridge prep, yeah. Knees are bent, back is on the mat. And just notice the residue of the poses in your body. Notice breath. Notice thoughts or any absence of thoughts. And perhaps you even give a state, you connect to state. Is it misery or non-misery? And perhaps you have found non-misery through having stepped into the invitation of moving your body, moving energy, moving things out. It's what we call working from the outside in, moving the body to get deeper and connect more deeply into what's going on. Keep your legs here or extend them outward. Now to come into your Shavasana. Legs can spread out wider than normal. Arms out wider than normal. And if you have any sensitivity in the low back today, you can always take your Shavasana belly down. If you are going to do that, and I do definitely invite you to actually be in a Shavasana before you truly begin your day, you can bring a rolled blanket or a small bolster just over the hips, under the hips, and come down to traction the low back out as you come to your final pose. If you tend to wrestle with anxiety, feel free to bring your hands underneath your brow line and bring your face downward so that your hands are also on Sanjiao meridian. Or the knuckles are supporting it. Just allow for the entire body to be heavier into the mat. Take in more breath. And on your exhale, surrender to your inner gravity. Stay here for as long as you like or you're able this morning. And I invite you to come back to Shavasana, these little mini Shavasana snacks throughout the day, or at least have one Shavasana snack throughout the day as you need it. I invite you to seed in peace today and to call upon boundaries that support you and what you are being called to do and seed in your life. If you find that your peace is becoming disturbed today, I invite you to give yourself permission to turn off whatever that is. Turn off a conversation, turn off the phone, turn off media, turn off TV, whatever it is that's disturbing your peace. I invite you to step into peace all day today, to seed peace. The more that we are compassionate with ourselves, the more able we are to be compassionate with others. And draw in a deep and full inhalation. Exhale into the mat. If you're ready to end your Shavasana, feel free to make your way back up to seated. If you're staying in your Shavasana, I invite you to stay. It is always my goal to leave you better than I found you. And I hope that that happened for you today. Jai Bhagwan. I'll be connecting with you guys on now. If you are still in your Shavasana, now's the time to just pop off. Hey, Rebecca, good to see you. David, I hope you got your, espero que hayas hecho tu yoga antes de las clases. I love it. I have a former student on, one of my little woke bays that's going to be taking over the world soon. He is amazing. Wants to be president when he gets older. Good to see you, Katie. Laura, I'm glad you made it. I don't know what's going on with these emails, but we gonna figure it out, girl. I think I have an idea, though. Good to see all of you. Tula, Sean. Super dope, Queen. I haven't seen you in a while. So we have yoga, meditation, mindfulness practices happening at dawn, noon, and dusk by different folks, led by different folks. I invite you to really just step deeply into your practice, even if it's only for a little while. Pop on, get your meditation on, and gird yourself for the day. I'll be here for another few minutes to connect with you in the case that you are still on and you want to say hello. Demonstrate the hand position for anxiety or during Shavasana. Yes, so you're taking a crocodile positioning when this happens. And I'm going to turn the light, turn more toward the light since there's better light in front of me. So essentially what you're doing is you're hitting the edges of your eyebrows, which is where Sanjal Meridian begins. Am I irregular in the mornings now? Rebecca's asking. No, ma'am. I am leading for this challenge. I am guiding Yin in the mornings every whatever day this is, Thursday. But I do not have it in me to teach Yin every morning at this hour. I don't know, maybe, we'll see. So Jessica's asking about this hand positioning. So essentially what you can do is just interlace your fingers and the knuckles, when you're lying on your knuckles, what ends up happening is your knuckles will end up hitting right here, which is the beginning of triple warmer Sanjal Meridian. For 3 weeks, Rebecca, don't get excited. I am, though, looking at bringing in more Yin in the mornings. You can also activate this through tapping. And I have a video on my YouTube channel, which is where these videos will end up going as well. That also tells you, there's a video that's called Real Tools for Real Life or something like that, Practical Tools for Real Life. And it's about turning off the anxiety response. And I speak more to Sanjal Meridian and using a presence practice for that. So I hope that helps. Anything else from you guys? You are welcome. All right, so the question is, do I stay awake or do I go back to sleep? I'm going to try to stay awake. I'm going to try to stay awake. I'm trying, my commitment over the next 21 days is to change my sleep schedule, which is off. So that's my goal. All right, you guys, I guess I will see you. I don't see any other comments to which I haven't responded. So I will see you again. If you know anyone who you really want to invite into this practice, hopefully this video will be posted on YouTube in the next couple of hours. So I hope you enjoy. Take care of yourselves. Take care of one another. Bye-bye now.